It's officially 6 p.m. Eastern. The Preppers Net is now starting on Channel 14, the Preppers Channel. One quick call to see if we have anybody that would like to register. Please speak your name clearly and let us know what state you're in, and we'll get you registered. Okay, at this point, we don't have anybody else who would like to register for the net. We will continue on. I am Red Bear, and my co-host for the net tonight will be Montana Jim. I would like to give a special thank you to Montana Jim for helping me put this on. And I would also like to thank Montana Jim once again for hosting the net all by himself last week. I was able to catch up on last week's net. Thanks to the work that Jim does. I was able to watch both YouTube videos and listen in, and I actually do have some notes that I would like to go over before we actually fully get into Jim's presentation tonight. Little short break here.
I'd just like to check in right there. This is TC out of New York.
We got you down, TC. Glad to have you here, brother. Thank you so much for joining. Do we have anybody else who would like to register at this time? Please speak your name clearly and let us know what state you're currently in. Okay, at this time, we're going to take a quick pause for any more registrations so we can continue on. I will be calling out periodically through the net tonight for more registrations. I'm going to give a short break here. All right, we're going to get all the legal disclaimers out of the way, guys, real fast. First off, let's please watch our language: swearing, cussing, talking vulgar. Let's be polite and courteous to each other throughout the net tonight. We never know if we've got somebody in here with a TikTok live, so that may be happening, and we do not want to be on TikTok live looking like a bunch of uneducated fools. So let's conduct ourselves appropriately tonight. Thank you very much for that. And we also may have children listening in, you never know, and we may not appreciate our children listening to vulgar or language or swearing. Quick pause here. Okay, tonight's topic is going to be on triggers. I would like to go over some notes that I took about last week's net that I missed out on. Getting fuel for work. I'm going to use that to prove a point on how we prep every day of our lives and we don't even realize it. I think that it's a big deal to start seeing how we prep in our lives every day without realizing it. And that'll help us maybe work more on prepping for disasters and emergency situations. One more break here. Me personally, in my everyday life, I have to worry about having fuel in the vehicle to get back and forth to work. I'm a road flagger for road construction, and I drive all over the beautiful state of Michigan. So every night on the way home from work, I fuel the vehicle up, make sure it's full for the next day, because I travel very far every day, all over the state of Michigan, like I said. So getting fuel is very important just for prepping for daily life. Yes, I did just say that, guys. Prepping for daily life. Not looking at disasters or emergencies or when things hit the fan, however you want to call it. I'm solely looking at prepping for daily life right now. A little short break here. Falcon also was discussing on last week's net about getting fuel for the generator. Well, if everything falls apart right now, the grid goes down, whatnot, he brought up the fact that in the state of Florida now, they have to have a backup generator of some sort to keep the fuel flowing at the gas stations. Another problem I see with that, though, is everybody's going to be flying up there to get gas, to get fuel right now, and they're going to run out of fuel. So they will no longer be able to provide you with fuel. So that's why I have to agree with Jim when he's saying, look at your needs, see how much fuel you need, and then double up. Because you may only be planning to be, down with no grid for maybe 2 days. and it could potentially go longer. You never know. That's why we prep. We're prepping, we're getting ready for the unknown. Short break. Will in Maui last week also was discussing the hurricane, the tsunami, I think it was, that they were looking at possibly receiving. He was discussing with his wife how it was important to keep the vehicle fueled up and why that was important. When you get down to that last second, guys, that's going to be crucial. That last second, it's too late. Whatever you do not have ready to go right now during that last second, you might as well consider the fact that it will never be ready to go. It's too late. Now we're in dire crisis without fuel. Maybe it's water, maybe it's fuel, or maybe it's food. You know, this is all stuff that was discussed last week during last week's net. Little short break here. So prepping is in our daily lives. We're constantly prepping. Running out the door to go to work tomorrow. Grabbing your keys, maybe grabbing your Talk2Me radio, maybe any other radio devices you may have, making sure that the car's ready to go. Oh, you better grab that cup of coffee. Wow, you almost forgot that. Got to have your coffee for work, the ride to work, guys. Very important. See, we do prep in everyday life. We prep for what we're doing next. Currently, in my example, we're getting ready to go to work. Last night, on the way home from work, we grabbed fuel. So we were prepping for this morning to be able to drive to work. Now we're grabbing all our stuff, maybe our laptop, because that's got presentations we were working on last night at home for work. You know, there's all kinds of things. Packing a lunch, making sure you got a few extra bucks on you to run down to the vending machine and grab that bag of chips for your lunch. You know, you never know. We're always prepping. Our lives are revolving around prepping. Short break. Okay, looking at this week's topic, and then I will take registrations again for registering for the net. Triggers. What am I going to do? And also, when am I going to do it? Falcon also brought something else up in last week's topic, which was prepping for your needs, looking at your environment. That is very important as well, I think. But tonight's topic is triggers. What am I doing? At this time, though, do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net? Please clearly state your name and what state you're currently in.
Good evening. You have Andrew from Michigan.
Hey, Andrew, always nice to have yet somebody else from Michigan joining in on the net. Thank you for being here. We got you down, sir. Do we have anybody else that would like to register at this time? All right, we're going to continue on moving forward. Montana Jim, the mic is yours, sir.
Thank you, Red Bear, and thanks for those comments about last week's net. They're all definitely prudent and useful, and I do like we are prepping for life, and we do prep a lot more than what we realize, which is good. Okay, a little reminder, you can watch any previous nets and the expanded topic presentations on our YouTube channel in case you missed them, like Red Bear did last time. Search for @prepnet dash talk to me on YouTube to find our PrepNet channel. Okay, tonight is triggers. Triggers are events you set ahead of time for you to do something. In other words, if X happens, do A. If Y happens, do B. I'm going to put my fire chief hat on for this next example. When we are given a structure protection detail on a wildland fire, the first thing that is done when we get to the assignment is we set triggers. Right. These might be, trigger one would be, if the fire gets to the top of the ridge, we will radio incident command that the fire has topped the ridge and inform them about our next trigger. So we are deciding what we're going to do and when we're going to do it. Trigger two, when the fire gets to within a half mile of our location, we will pull back to the house and put away all unused equipment in preparation for leaving. Trigger 3, when the fire gets to a quarter mile, we will pack up the rest of the equipment and leave, informing incident command. And trigger 4, if the fire gets to within 1,000 feet of us, we will abandon the rest of the equipment and immediately leave. This could include using an axe to cut the hose instead of taking the few minutes to put the hose on the truck. Break. Now, all of our crew members are given all this information. Fact is, we actually discuss it together, so everyone knows what we will do and when we will do it. This also gives us extra eyes to watch for those triggers. Commanding officer cannot be looking at everything all at once, all of the time, plus run the structure protection assignment. Our YouTube presentation will have a flow chart of these triggers for a better visual understanding. Every plan you come up with should have triggers. Again, this is a stress-reducing thing. It's better for you to figure out now what you will do and when you will do it than when the emergency occurs. This will allow you to put more energy into the other things you need to do at the time of the emergency. Now, here's a real-world prepping incident. Over the winter, the heat tape on the water line from my well to my house failed, and the line froze. The outside temperature was only 10 degrees, not real cold, but evidently cold enough. No water could be pumped to the house, and the electricity was still on. So trigger 1 was, if the well stops pumping, check the electric power. It was on. Check the breaker. It was not tripped. Inform everyone in the house that we are on stage 1 water rationing. Then check the water line from the well to the house for breaks, leaks, or in my case, a frozen line. And I found it frozen. And then, for that trigger, call well repair. Break. All of trigger 1 happened within an hour of discovering this failure. And stage 1 water rationing for us is to start using our 5 to 7 gallon stored water containers for limited uses. No showers, no baths, no washing clothes, and minimal dishwashing. Water is only to be used for drinking, cooking, and sponge baths. Now, the trigger 2, will the outage be less than a week? Either the well guy will come out to check the well, in less than a week, or they might suggest something for us to try first. If yes, the outage will be less than a week, we would continue with stage 1 water rationing. If no, the outage would be longer than a week, we would go to stage 2 water rationing. Break. Stage 2 water rationing would put a daily limit per person, making our stored water last longer. If we got to trigger 3, if the well pump is still not fixed within 2 weeks of failure, go to stage 3 water rationing. Stage 3 rationing means we will start taking water from our 55-gallon water storage if most of our 5 to 7 gallon water containers have been used. We would also need to then implement our water replacement plan. Just to let you know, we only had to pull trigger 1, but the plans were already in place if the incident escalated. The tech at the well company suggested I put a milk house heater in the well hole, which is 8 feet deep, to melt the ice in the frozen lines. It did take a day and a half, but it worked as the grid was still up. Now, if the grid had been down, we would have had to come up with a different way to unfreeze the water line. A point here, as it was said many years ago, don't let a crisis go to waste. If something happens at home but is not a real disaster, and you have a prepping plan that can cover that incident, use your plan. You will then find how well your planning would have worked in a real emergency. This is part of the ongoing review of all your plans to make them work the best for you. And again, the YouTube posting of this presentation will have a flow chart of my triggers on the well failure incident. And I think there was another little incident in there too. Great. Okay, to finish up, we have posted a quick presentation on our YouTube channel called What We Will Cover. And this tells you what topics we will cover on this net in the future, and obviously the ones we have done. This is by no means a complete list, but what I came up with on short notice. Search for at PrepNet-Talk2Me on YouTube and go to the PrepNet Expanded Presentations playlist to view this. Next week's topic will be, what are the categories? And you'll have to tune in to find out what I'm talking about. Back to Red Bear.
Copy that. Give me 1 second. I'm writing that down. I would like to keep notes on that. What we will cover. You got me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Copy that, Jim. Real quick though, we're going to see if there's anybody else who would like to register for the net tonight. Please speak your name clearly and give us the state you are currently in. All right. One more try here. Do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net? Okay, moving on. Jim did bring up one thing that I would like to discuss myself really quick. Cutting the hose. When Jim was talking about that, he had already backed down to the house, and they're realizing that things are getting too severe, too drastic, and they've got to go. They've practiced this. Rinse, wash, repeat. Rinse, wash, repeat. So the fire department has done this. And now they're in the situation where that extra couple seconds to disconnect the hose, get the hose packed back up on the truck before they go, they don't have the time to do that. Grab an axe, chop that hose real fast, everybody load up and go. I kind of made my note. I'm calling it cut and run. Plan for it. When you're planning your prepping, look at your situations while you're prepping and you're practicing. What could possibly hinder me right now to make me move on to the next step very quickly, and how do I do that? I've already planned to load up the food from the house that I have to go to my bug out spot, but I don't have time to load up the food. So real quick answer, unfortunately, you got to leave that food. Hopefully you got food in your bug out spot. Just saying. So, yeah, cut and run as I'm going to call it here. Jim cut the hose on the fire truck there because they didn't have time to wrap it up, disconnect it and all that to get going. They had to go. I'm going to give a short break here. One more quick check before we move further. Do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net tonight? All right. Jim, before we open the round table, what's your opinion of me calling that cut and run?
I think it's perfect. And it actually brings up the point of, I'll just reiterate, what you said. No matter how well you plan, you're going to have to be prepared to, adapt, improvise, adapt, and overcome. And sometimes things are not going to go the right way, and you have to be willing to already have decided, if it reaches this point, I'm gone, regardless. But yeah, no, I think that's a perfect naming for that.
Copy. Thanks a lot, Jim. Appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and open the round table up now. We're going to work our way down our list here. Wolf in Pennsylvania. Questions, comments, concerns? Do you have anything on tonight's topic, sir? The mic is yours.
Listen to what you were saying about the water and all that stuff, but the one thing that wasn't brought up is first aid. When stuff goes sour, that's when people intend to get hurt. They trip over themselves, they get hurt, they could sprain their ankles and stuff like that. It's good to have a first aid kit that you can rely on and always have it ready. Just in case, because you never know. It's always something just in case. So, bandages, Band-Aids, glue, crazy glue, something like for that. Like if you get cut, that way you can seal it up if you don't have stitches. Make it quick. A lot of alcohol to clean wounds, and matches. You always need matches because some things you gotta burn clothes.
10-4, Wolf. Yeah, definitely. I got to agree with you on the first aid kit. Maybe have a couple of first aid kits in your vehicle that you use for everyday travel in your home. If you have a bug out location, definitely be well stocked up with a emergency first aid kit there. Another question for you. If you are bugging out, are you going to use your everyday driver, or do you have another vehicle that you have loaded up and ready to go? Do you have a first aid kit in that? That's something else that we haven't looked at, which Jim did partially hit on a little bit in past presentations. So that's going to be another question right there. Is your everyday driver your bug out vehicle? So if not, how is that vehicle prepared? If it is your everyday driver, is that prepared and ready to go at a moment's notice if you are bugging out? A little short break here.
I can answer that for you real quick if you want.
Sure, Wolf, go ahead.
So in both vehicles, I have a bag in the back of the vehicle with a blanket, a thermal blanket, bottled water, first aid, and flares. You always need flares because you never know what could happen, especially in the winter. I live in Pennsylvania. We get feet of snow, not inches. We get a lot of snow. So if your car breaks down, you have that. You have a radio in there that you can call somebody if your cell phone don't work, which I got my wife into now. She's starting to learn how to use the analog side, the GRMS side. And stuff like that is crucial. You need that stuff. You need stuff to start like small fires, like that you could control. That way you can heat up water, cook something if you need to. That way you can stay fed and take care of yourself if you can't get help for like a day or two. That way, when morning comes, I'm gonna reset real quick. When morning comes, you can actually get up and go and try to find help, but you still have something to help you before you start freezing. Always have thermals. Always keep that with you because you never know when you might need it.
Copy that, Wolf. Thank you very much. I'm just gonna play the stupid person here. I'm gonna ask you a couple questions about your flares. Are you talking about flares for a flare gun, or are you going a little bit more inexpensive, and just buying the stereotypical road flares?
As of right now, what I have is road flares, the sticks. So whenever you take the plastic cap off and you strike them and they light up, you can use them as torches too. That way you can see at night. That's the ones I have right now. Flare guns, don't have that. I should get those, but I don't have that yet.
The flare gun would be really good for popping a flare off up in the air, and that could potentially give you some much needed light for a few seconds till it goes down, but it will also alert people of your position as well. So flare guns could be a good thing, but your stereotypical inexpensive road flare that you're already talking about, those are even better in my book. So I'm going to challenge you on that. Since you have those flares, if you forgot your matches and you're in a situation where you need to start a fire, you're already talking about sparking one of these flares to be able to use it as a torch. Could you use that flare to start a fire?
Oh yeah, yes you can. Yeah, gather up as much wood as you can, put it together. You can start a little campfire with them. Those things can burn, and you need to be careful with them because if they can burn, out of control. Another thing too that I didn't even think about, but I'm glad that this is here. This is perfect to keep a tablet in your bag because for people like you, myself now that we use this mesh, that is a perfect way of communicating with somebody when no one's around. You can send that signal out. It will pick up somebody.
Mesh is a very good way for communication, and I'm actually looking up on my game a little bit. I may be putting my ham venture on pause because of it. But yeah, definitely. That's another good thing there. I challenged you, you accepted my challenge, and you just started a fire with your flare since you don't have a ferro rod, matches, or any other way to start a fire, you could have made a little string bow and started a fire, but that's going to take even longer. You're cold. You're freezing. It's middle of winter in Pennsylvania. You got to get that fire started now. So, yeah, the flare would work. Thank you very much, Wolf. Quick break here. TC, you're going to be up next, sir, in New York. But first, do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net? Okay, we're going to continue moving forward real quick. TC, before you step up, Jim, I would like to say thank you for the topic tonight, and I think you did a very good job putting that together for us. You guys got to realize Jim's putting in quite a few hours for these short presentations he's doing. He's putting out a lot of work to be able to bring these together for us, and I think he's doing a very, very good job. And then you throw in the YouTube videos as well. We're currently being recorded, and this will be on YouTube, and so will his brief presentation that he does for next week's topic as well. So thank you very much for all the hard work that you put forth for us there, Jim. TC, the mic is yours, sir. Go ahead.
All right, thank you, right there. Okay, so I'm similar to Wolf. I have 2 bug out bags. I keep one in my car and one stays in the house. And in there, of course, I have everything I need to start a fire. I have the ferro rods. I have the fire starter kit. I also have a flare gun with various color of smoke. So I can shoot green or blue, or I can shoot red. And that's if I'm hiking and I'm in Utah in a valley, and God forbid someone is injured. And how you going to get them out? You got to medevac them out. So when you pop smoke, they'll see it, because in a chopper, all you can see is rocks on the ground. That's what people look like. So with that aside, I also worked as a volunteer firefighter when I was in my 20s. And I know what it is to go into a burning building. Also, when I was in Florida, I volunteered down there, and we used to fight all of the wildfires that we get in Florida in the woodlands. And we had the same policy, cut the hose and go if it was on top of us. Let me key. So I have experience in that. The only thing we did in New York differently, and it's a different scenario, I was in a burning building with a buddy which passed out because his Scott pack ran out. And what we were trained is to throw our helmet off onto the ground. Any firefighter that sees a helmet hit the ground, no, that means you're in deadly danger. And that's a life-threatening situation. And they had to run the hook and ladder up. And I dragged my buddy to the balcony, pulled off his Scott pack, and I got him some air, and we got him down. But anyway, duct tape, very important. Smoke, either pop-up smoke or a flare gun, thermal, and 2 bug-out bags. That's what I recommend, and that's my little story.
Thanks a lot, TC. Really appreciate that. And you brought up another good scenario for the term cut and run there. Your fellow firefighter threw his helmet down, and I told you he was out of air. So now, you've practiced for fighting the fire. You know, you've prepped for fighting the fire, but one thing you looked at was somebody running out of oxygen while they're in that fire, fighting that fire. You saw that helmet hit the ground. Now you're in a cut and run situation, just like Jim and cutting the hose there. You've got to get your fellow firefighter out of that burning building. All he's breathing in right now is smoke. He's in dire need. This firefighter is about to die from smoke inhalation. You don't have time to think. So in all your prepping scenarios, look at that term cut and run and ask yourself, where in this while I'm practicing will I have to cut and run? Set this scenario up make that emergency where you need to change pace very rapidly without thinking because the situation's totally different. What if Wolf is in Pennsylvania prepping for those wicked winters that he's talking about? And he's got the cars ready to go, loaded up with bug out bags for the winter, but it's the middle of summer. Now he doesn't have the gear for summer. So that's going to be a good cut and run situation right there. Constantly changing your prep gear out for your environment. As Falcon talked about last week in the net. Little short break here. Thanks again, TC. Really appreciate it, and we're glad you're here. Hope you're enjoying the net, sir. But at this time, do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net? Please speak your name clearly and let us know what state you are currently in.
Hey, this is Donna MT in Montana. Just sitting here listening.
Glad to have you here, Donna. Are you just monitoring, or are you going to be part of the show tonight?
Right at the moment, I'm just monitoring. I don't have anything to add at this time. Thank you, though.
We're glad to have you here, dear. Very glad to have you here. Thank you very much for joining in. Do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net? Okay, we're going to continue on. We have Andrew in Michigan. I got to brag a little bit about Andrew before I give him the mic. He got into Meshtastic Wolf and TC. I have him in the Talk2Me group, and we've been able to exchange messages in there as well as in the DM today. So, yeah, Andrew has a Health Tech 3 board. He's doing very well, and he's on his way with Meshtastic. So, thanks again, Andrew, for contacting me on that. I appreciated being able to help you out. But we're going to move on to you, Andrew. The mic is yours, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. First off, thanks for helping with the Meshtastic new user, so just getting used to this thing. Don't have much to add. It was good hearing. I've never really thought about the triggers topic, but it's good to hear what everybody else has contributed so far, and gonna have to really give it some thought. So I got a couple bug out bags, couple first aid kits. One I keep in the car, or one of each in the car, and the other ones are here at home. But never really thought about what the topic is tonight, so kind of have to dive deeper into that and do some more thinking.
Copy that, Andrew. Thank you very much. Yeah, triggers is a very, very good topic, I think. I've thought about it, but at the same time, I really haven't invested in any time into it. Well, now I'm going to have to, thanks to Jim. I think it's very important myself. Triggers are very important to look at while prepping, definitely. Thanks again, Andrew. Real quick, though, do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net? Please speak your name clearly and let us know what state you are currently in.
WACI 817, Texas.
821. Mark me at 10-8.
Correct.
WACI in Texas. We got you registered. Thank you very much. Are you just monitoring, or would you like to contribute to this tonight?
On the channel. Oh, it's Whiskey Sierra Charlie Indy 817. Well, I was just going to listen, but I had a thought. I was wondering if anybody's Mars modded at a Yaesu FT 710.
Would anybody like to comment on that? I am unsure what you're talking about there, boss.
It's a portable ham radio.
Oh, okay. Copy that. Could you explain to us real quick, why would a ham radio be important in prepping?
Well, you can hook it up to a battery, such as that one, and you can Mars mod it to where it'll transmit anywhere. I think it would be a helpful tool. I mean, you could talk to CB.
WRMG 977 Jeff
Latham, New York. Looking to sign in for the web.
Unit 1, are you Unit 37?
Is it okay if we just write you down as Unit 1? And also, are you just monitoring, or would you like to contribute?
Yeah, this radio is on Unit 1, so you can put me down as Unit 1, and I may contribute, but I'm definitely going to monitor.
Yeah, you can mark me as both. I'm signed into Channel 9 to monitor and to be in the channel.
Hey, Martinez, how you doing, buddy? Are you going to register for the net?
10-4, I was just asking Unit 1 because I think that's Unit 37 in Channel 9. I just wanted to ask you a quick question later.
And you are in Connecticut.
10-4.
Copy that. Do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net tonight? All right, then we're going to move on to Unit 1. Unit 1, you did say that you had something for the net tonight. The mic is yours, sir. All right, we'll just mark him down as monitoring. Martinez, were you able to catch any of the net?
No, I wasn't able to catch the other net, but I could tell that ham radios, GMRS radios, and having a bug out bag is actually good for prepping because in a natural disaster, you need all the tools so you could get to survive.
Copy that, copy that. So the topic tonight for the net, Martinez, is triggers. So I'm going to pick on you a little bit with radios. So we're going to look at this. I'm going to set you up a quick scenario here. You've got your GMRS radio, you've got your Talk2Me radio, and you also have a ham radio. Okay? So part of your prepping plan is to have all three radios readily available. Now I'm going to give a short break here. But now that you're in an emergency and you need to be able to communicate, you grab your Talk2Me radio, go to channel 9, and you find out that your Talk2Me radio battery is dead. So now you're in a trigger moment. So you have to, as we call it, cut and run. You're going to have to jump to another radio. What radio do you grab next? Do you grab your GMRS radio or your ham radio? And why do you grab that radio, sir?
I believe I would grab my ham radio because the repeaters are further and some, not all ham radios, the batteries are more compatible and have more milliamps. So I'll be able to get the right person through the ham frequency.
As much as I would love to boast about GMRS, one thing I'm going to look at is the amount of repeaters out there for GMRS versus ham. Also, you cannot link your repeaters with GMRS, according to the FCC. People do it, but you may not have that at your disposal right now. So while you're cutting and running and grabbing that next radio, maybe the GMRS radio would not be the right radio. I would have to agree with you with a ham radio because you're going to have a multitude more of repeaters at your disposal, provided that ham radio is programmed with the repeaters in the area, and those repeaters can be linked as well. So you may be able to get help a lot quicker with that ham radio versus the GMRS radio. And your ham operators are usually better trained than your standard GMRS operators are in emergency dispatch and getting you help. Little short pause here. Thanks a lot, Martinez. Appreciate you being here. Hopefully you keep joining in every Saturday night, Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. We hold the net here. So moving forward, though, do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net?
Hey, Red Bear, and the thing is, I would rather grab the rescue radio from Talk2Me as my ham radio because it has both of the frequencies.
Copy that. So Martinez is not playing around. He's got the rescue radio, and he's got it on the VHF side. Good call, sir. Very good call. Do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net?
No, I'm saying the rescue radio that I'm waiting for because Rob and I spoke about something, and I'm waiting for a rescue radio. I would rather grab that rescue radio than and just put it to the right frequency and have it for emergencies.
Copy that, Martinez. I apologize. We're on a little bit of a crunch. I've got one more net here in about 15 minutes. Do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net, though?
All right, there. I have a quick comment when you have a moment.
Go ahead, TC.
Yeah, I just want to say for preppers, off the grid, you know, we have ham radio, which if you have your license, you can operate it. But in an emergency, you don't need a license. You can operate that under F Part 95 of the FCC rules. But I just want to bring up one really quick item. It's I've been researching it. It's called the Garmin. Garmin. It's the InReach Mini 2. It's a $350 radio, okay? But it's a text, and it's a satellite text radio, totally off the grid. And you got 24/7 SOS, and also if the cell phone towers are down, this will communicate to whatever location you are in the United States. And if they need to get a medevac into you, if you have injured people, they can do a latitude, longitude. It's a great piece of equipment.
Thank you so much, DC, for the information. I was marking it down while he was talking.
Hey, TC, thanks a lot. Real fast check, guys. I want to wrap this net up and get over to channel 16. Any complaints about shutting the net down? If you don't have a complaint, please do not key up. Okay, I apologize. I only gave a short break for that. I am kind of in a rush to get over there and set that up. TC, if you would, please follow me over to channel 16. I'm going to be hosting Falcon's Net tonight, and I would love to hear a little bit more about this radio that you're talking about right now. So at this time, though, guys, I'm going to head over to channel 16. I'm going to ask everybody to pop over there with me. That's the GMRS channel. I will be hosting that net tonight in place of Falcon. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate all the support. You guys got to know that these nets are only possible because of the people registering for the nets and also the people in the background monitoring that do not. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank Jim for his presentation. I appreciate everything you do here, Jim. Thank you very much. You have any last thoughts or comments, Jim?
Hey, Ray Bear, sorry to interrupt. I'm going back to channel 9 and checking into the new channel, which is 1/6. Then I'm going to be in the net and monitoring at the same time.
Okay, thank you, Martinez. Jim, do you have any last thoughts or comments?
I'm going to hold the comments until the beginning of next week's nets because there's a bunch of good stuff and it would actually take too long. But we'll cover it next week. No problem.
Wishing all.
Copy that. And I've got some notes. I'm going to reiterate tonight's net a little bit as well. Thanks a lot, Jim. Thank you, everybody, for joining on net tonight. Really appreciate having you. Y'all have a good night. I'm also going to request you to head over to 16. I'm on my way there right now.